Hey friends, welcome to a new episode of playing Reaper on sniper maps and then complaining about the hero. Today's contestant is Shybird. Gold 4 Peak Reaper is currently in Gold 4 and he thinks he deserves Diamond 1. I know Overwatch 1 and 2 are very different games, but I was consistently Diamond/Masters back then. I just haven't been anywhere close to that since. I suck at PC, so I went back to console and started picking up Reaper. Please tell me how I can improve, tear me a new one, and make me weep. Like the last Reaper, so the last Reaper review we've done went pretty well. People were really excited for it, and people were apparently there's a lot of Reaper players out there. So I thought we'd do another Reaper one, but like, why is it always sniper maps? Like, I honestly loaded up the replay and I didn't even check the map, and I was like, let's go. And now we're on Havana. You're playing with a Junket Queen, which means you have a rush comp. You have less sustain than the enemy, right? The enemy has a Ramatra. So what you want to do is you want to force out the Ramatra cooldowns and punish the Ramatra. What are you aiming at? Reaper is just really good close range against anything, right? As long as you get close range to anything, you can get very easy, fast pickoffs. Like, yeah, Reaper is really good against some tanks, like the stereotype of Monkey getting countered by Reaper, which is true in some cases. But really what you want to do on Reaper is you do not want to be on open ground. You do not want to shoot the Tracer in a long-range laser battle for the ages. Instead, what you want to do is you want to find a spot to move in, like, for example, teleport up here, flank behind them, and look for the easy kills, like the Moira that just faded from existence, or, you know, the Baptiste that's not looking at you. You sitting here and shooting the Tracer is not really doing anything. You can commit here in a second, and I think you can get a free kill on someone, right? So you go in correctly, you find the angle. The aim is not the greatest.
I don't want to do this no more.
You're actually in no danger of dying right now. The Lucio is in your Junkrat's ass. Literally. What the fuck am I looking at? Before you even start the fight, like, think about what can kill you. What is the most danger on that team? The only thing that can really burst you down fast is a Mei headshot with her right click. You know the Tracer is behind. You have everyone else in line of sight. So the funny thing is, the only person that can kill you is almost dead. So instead you go and deal 1 damage to the Tracer, and then he walks into you and you get him. Okay, I mean, you won the fight. What rank is this? I actually do not know what console games in Gold look like, because I just don't play console. This is in fact only the second time I ever watch a replay of console. So, you definitely didn't play perfectly. You could have won that way easier, but it doesn't get much easier actually, because the enemy team is just feeding. If this is a replay where you win really easily and you complain, I'm gonna be really pissed, okay? Just a heads up. Bro, this is gold, I'm gonna eat a shoe. What? You just capped the second point for... The enemy team has not had a single... The enemy team has not had a single team fight. Now this is where it gets kind of interesting, because this is probably the best point in the game for snipers. This window is overpowered. Blizzard just needs to hire a mason that repairs this fucking window, so the widow can't sit up here and kill everyone. I don't mind the second point on Havana, but like, this point is so horrible. While you take the high ground and you look down instead of looking at where the enemy actually is. Gonna think you're gonna get slapped here? Yep, good night. Slapped and tied. Hey, got out with the shift. See, the thing is, Reaper is actually really just about the basics, right? You don't need insane aim, as long as you have like decent... So this is the first time you actually had to do something in this game, right? Let's be honest. You have your shift on cooldown, you have your TP, and you decide to sit in the open, long range against the Hanzo Mei. What do you think is gonna happen here? Yeah, I mean, you tank it. Your junk is doing it too, for the record. I don't know how your junk live, but like, both of you. So what I would try to do here is, yeah, shift into spawn and swap characters to Widowmaker, honestly. But if you really want to stay on Reaper, what I would look for here is intros, like maybe sneak up, teleport behind them up here. Or, you know, like this TP spot is actually good if they don't catch you, if the Ana doesn't sleep you. There's no way you can fight on long distance, and you do it. Like, yeah, your ideas on how to play Reaper are pretty, like, they're pretty good. I like it. So you do that correctly. Your Queen rolls there. Mercy, because Queen is very balanced. Thanks, Blizzard, for buffing Junket Queen. Definitely needed a buff. She was very weak before. I like that she doesn't die at all anymore. It's really good. I love dying to tanks over and over. And there you go. I mean, that was pretty simple. What are you trying to defeat to?
Huh?
Oh man, it looks so. The control aim is so funny to me. It's Sniper Reaper Part 2. This is literally like the other replay we've watched. I mean, now you see the Pharah. I don't know. Like at this point, like maybe try to TP up here to close the distance on her. Or again, you don't have to kill the Pharah, right? Your team can kill the Pharah. Hopefully, you can help your Junker Queen get close and stop them from pushing out, right? You just want to close the distance on Reaper. That's all you have to do. And if they don't know where you are, the better. But yeah, again, you're trying to fight them on like long distance or medium distance, and on that distance, Reaper really doesn't do a lot of damage anymore, you know? Not really shooting anything, but your team is hard lifting you. This is one of those, oh my god, look at me, I'm so good, I carried. But like, you didn't really do much of anything. In fact, I think your queen just carried you the entire round. Alright, I mean, let's see your defense. Okay, you're holding close. Nice, good pick on the trade that just walked into that. Don't know about that TP, that is very aggressive, but... I mean, here on Reaper, you really just want to hold close, right? Probably best case scenario. Well, they have a Reaper too now, so now it gets interesting. Now you actually gotta play around it. Well, you run into the shield. Okay, what the hell? So now you can try to hold close, but you still gotta keep in mind, if they have a Reaper too, right, he does the exact same damage as you. So what you want to do here, really, what you want to focus on is playing Jiggle Peek, playing around the card. If you like play behind the card and you peek out left, right, you only peek out when you shoot. You can like use the card as cover and still get your damage in, right? You can jump up here, you can create a little spider. You're just completely exposed here, right? This is fine. You have your healers behind you. You can play cover behind the card. Instead, you shift in. Into the open, into shields. There is no way you ever live. So, you see them fighting around card. You see, right now, you want to analyze what's actually happening, right? You're down 1, so your tank obviously needs help, right? You're not close to ult yet. You have 20% more until you get your ult. And their Reaper is already attacking you. So you want to move close. Maybe go for the Moira. Maybe just shoot their tank or their Reaper so they have to back out. So your Junker Queen gets space to move out. And on a character like Reaper, you have to get close anyways. So you just pop around the corner, right? And get a free kill on the Moira, for example. But in this case here, they're not really aware of you. I mean, you just shot them, so if they're good, they know you're here. From my experience in lower ranks, people don't realize when they're being shot where the enemy is.
What's that? Must have been the wind.
Just moving 2 meters to the left and shooting the Moira, or moving right and shooting the Reaper, is good enough. And instead what you do, which is the complete wrong call in my opinion, is you move top. So what did this really provide you? Not much of anything, and your queen dies for it. In both situations, they didn't look at you, and you were free to shoot. In fact, when you stood up there, you can do even less damage than if you're close. You didn't have ult either, so there was no playmaking potential for you. So you just wasted like 3-4 seconds walking up there, doing nothing. And those 3-4 seconds were literally essential to the fight, because you're already down 1 and you need to help out your tank. And now you're probably gonna end up dead here, if I were to guess. This is very, very risky.
Whoa, hey.
And I do think the Curie saves you. Yeah, you still end up dying because of Ramatra ult. I would have probably just died on card there, so you can guarantee another fight. If the fight doesn't end here, and you stagger, right? So if the fight ends when the card is, let's say, here or here, right? Then this card push is not enough time for your team to fully regroup and come back for a second time, right? If you die right here, where the card is here, and you die last, what that means is the card didn't move, and it still has to move this entire distance, which means you have almost guaranteed another team fight, at least a 4-man fight. Let's go into a tiny bit more detail, because it's a special map. On this map, you can also decide to hold right here in the spawn. The reason people hold in the spawn is, even if they die right here, you can actually guarantee 3-team fights sometimes, right? Because if you die right here and the card gets no push, that means they're gonna push until like around here. Then you can take fight number 2, and then around here, and then you can take fight number 3, right? So you're like coming in 1 by 1, and the enemy has the advantage, and they're close to pushing. You're probably gonna lose this unless you pop off here.
You underestimate my power.
But it doesn't look likely. It's 1v5 or 2v5. And I'm not gonna judge the aim too much because this is console. I don't know how good console aim looks like, honestly. I'm actually surprised you live. What the hell? I mean, it works here, but what I'm gonna tell you is this should have never worked if the enemy is any decent, right? And if you think you belong into Diamond, this does not work in Diamond. They should have multiple abilities to just get away from you, right? Mora can fade away. The Ram can shift and block. The Farah is in the sky. She doesn't care about you anyways.
Don't care.
So in a real game, this never works. This would have been a wasted ult, right? And again, I'm going back to why you submitted this replay. If I'm like, look, I carried the fight. I popped off. But I mean, that wasn't you being good. That was the enemy just playing super incorrectly, you know? Just know this wouldn't work a lot. Back to sniper meta. Get the Farah, boys. You move closer again. Take the fight against the Reaper. You shit on him. You better. Good job. Out-aimed. Die to the Farah rocket because you didn't react. You had shift. Could have just lived here if you think about it, right? The only thing I can kill you, and you see the Farah in the sky, is the Farah. So there's no reason for you to not shift here. You got the kill. Shift out. Back to your supports, wait for your supports to heal you at least, and then you can go back in. Like trading 1-for-1 at the start of the fight, you're basically just making the game so you don't exist and one of the enemies don't exist. If you want to carry, you should have more impact than anyone else on their team. If you have the same impact as their team, that means you are at your rank that you belong to, right? So if you think you belong into a higher rank, you should at least trade 2-for-1. I think this was... Okay, let's go over your submission again. I know Overwatch 1 and Overwatch 2 are very different games, but I was consistently Diamond Masters back then. I just haven't been anywhere close to that since. I suck at PC, so I went back to console and started picking up Reaper. And I'm gonna be very blunt here. You gave me a replay where you got absolutely hard lifted, where you had some decent ideas on how to start the engagement. I think the start of your engagements are very good on Reaper. I think you understand the concept of closing the distance, right? But then you don't follow up on anything. And that's not necessarily because of your aim, it's just because of your decision making. Think about what can kill you and think about if you're actually in danger. Because there were a lot of situations here where you really were focusing the wrong targets. Like shooting this Tracer for no reason, right? Or like shooting the Farah on last point, right? Your Junker Queen lifted you. That was definitely not a hard carry by you. You had that one good Blossom on defense. But again, even that Blossom only happened because the other team just played very mediocre. This was a very bad game by the enemy team, and I don't think it was a particularly great game by you. Work on your overall gameplay. Play the game more. It's not your team. You suck. Contest number 2 is Boy. Boy is currently in gold, and he thinks he deserves plat. So, not the biggest climb, completely realistic in my opinion. I would like to begin with the fact that I made 0 mistakes, absolutely untouchable gameplay, Swag Messiah on Reaper,
Swag Messiah.
and my dad on Cassidy because I was never present in the fight. I was throwing, but the tank was throwing harder by having no backbone in fights where he should have pushed in. Alright, another tank did. We get the drill, guys. Okay, let's see what you have, boy. You have a Life Weaver. Okay, Life Weaver alert. Beep boop, beep boop. But let's see. So you go in. Your soldier already got an intro pick. And I think it's a correct call to go for an off angle here. They don't realize you're here. I think you don't even have to crouch here anymore. You're on the distance where you can start shooting. But I don't mind this much. I was gonna say I don't mind this much if you take all the time in the world to make sure your first shot hits. If you crouch in and you go in that deep before shooting, then you need to make sure your first shot hits. You can also run in and put pressure on them and force them to back out early. But if you do this playstyle where you go really assassin heavy, then you need to hit your first shot. So you could have definitely like started off this engagement with a bit better mouse control. Because if this shot hits and doesn't whiff completely, then he's already at like 1 HP and you 2-shot him, right? That's the power of Reaper. But instead you whiff 2 shots hardcore. Imagine if any of them hit. Okay. Same flank route. Another thing, a general tip I can give you. If a flank doesn't work the first time, you maybe want to swap it up.
Did I ever tell you the definition of insanity?
Like, you don't have to go for the Hanzo just because you just rolled your ass, okay? Imagine going 2 meters left and shooting the Rhine in the back once and he dies, right? Or you start off by going right side. Look, so many angles you can take, right? To where you can kill them. But something in your movement tells me you really want to kill him, personally. Yep. It's personal. You got him. It worked. Went for the Hanzo, got the kill. Alright. Okay. Big life grip. Huge value. I don't think you were in any danger of dying there. That was a classic life repair move right there. Yeah, probably go for the Bastion here instead of the Moira. Okay. Oh, you're cleaning up, dude. Pog! He's farming! Nice. You carried that fight. Alright. That is a risky TP, in my opinion. I'm gonna give you the benefit of the doubt here and say you're super aware of where they are. But like, if I played this game, I wouldn't have been 100% sure if there was no one looking at me, right? Because the junk is already close, right? So imagine if the junk is here on the stairs and you TP in his face, you probably die. Wraith form to the left and walk this way. And that way you can make sure you can engage without dying instantly. I think this is kind of risky in the sense that you don't really know what's happening. You're kind of going in blind. You're like, I'm here. And then, you know, in this case it worked out. No one else was there. Okay, now you have Warlock. You definitely want to... This is... What? You're pushing in 1v5. On Reaper, if you're very fast with your shift, you can still get out. You can make this risky play. So you can shoot twice here. The funny thing is, if you blossomed, he would have maybe died. I think this was possibly a doable blossom. Because that Junkrat is completely unaware somehow. Big rollout. He's very confused. You can go for that risky play to get the pick off. And maybe if you ulted there, it would have even worked. But like, after that... So you make the choice here to shift, right? And you're so deep in already, it's gonna be hard. I guess the best way back would be here and run behind the corner and then teleport out and hope you live. But you committed 1v5 and you shift into them 1v5, right? You don't use a shift to get out, you use a shift to engage more. And yeah, you just get punished for it. Now they're gonna end up having to fight 4v5 on a point that's pretty hard to capture, right? Okay, sitting up here, don't really know the... I don't really know what the point of this is. Aggressive TP on the Junkrat? I don't know about that shift. This is risky business. They have a mercy pocket. Okay, you live. It's fine. Well, we're not gonna talk about it any further, but that was risky. Okay, you TP up, deny the res, good. Force a mercy out. I don't know about that shift in, that's kind of risky. What? Good blossom? Worked out. Tree of Life, best ult in the game, and another amazing pull by your Life Weaver, saving you from no one. What a save, guys! Pulled back with full HP against no one. Okay, so you kept it first. Pretty good. Good engagement. Your Widow dies to their sniper, Reinhardt. Interesting. But now you walk and he heard you. And in fact, he's looking at you. Yeah, he hears you. He saw you. There's two options here, right? Option number one, you try to hit the tire with the left click and then shift right after. Maybe you kill it with one shot. It's actually possible. Or, you know, you shift and hope that he explodes it at the wrong time. Or you try to anticipate when he explodes it. Now is it about the time where I would shift, you know, because the tire is literally in your face. Now, if you shifted now, he would have still lived because he explodes it really late. I mean, the tire lasts for a long time, right? Like the issue, I can see the issue with if you shift too early and he doesn't explode it, he can just follow you and kill you, right? But like you didn't do anything here and just died to the tire. Honestly, I'm gonna give you a plus for actually engaging in the proper manner with Reaper. You are looking for the assassin pickoffs. Like Spy in TF2. Just try to get out of spawn without dying for a second, and then look for a pickoff without dying. You need to be aware that your team can see you there. I don't know what that DP is. Okay, you're cleaning up. I don't know what the hell this game is. You just stepped into a trap. Fun fact, you saw that trap on the ground in front of you for like 3 seconds, and then you still decided to step into it. The two things you can die to, right, is the Bastion in turret form and the Junkrat. So you probably don't want to engage the Junkrat head on unless he doesn't know you're there. Your life we got bolts. I mean, this one kind of saved you. Man, I was gonna compliment you. That was actually good play. Bro, so Shadow Step lasts for quite a while, man, okay? So you stay alive. Look, look, look. Look, you have so much time. Just Shadow Step out of it. And you cancel it. And you take the full barrage. Why? He has 3 shots. The first one actually hits you. Wait, is it the first or the second one? Why? You can wait it out. You can Shadow Step away from it until it's completely gone, and then you can clean him up after, right? Let's hope you do better on defense, huh? Cassidy defense. Okay. Doable. Winnable game. You have the high ground. Your team is all over the place. I don't know why you're... I think you mentioned in your replay that your tank didn't go in. I think the attack was more of a live weaver and a team diff, to be honest. Like right now, your team is kind of holding it down, but like what is that aim, my guy?
This guy stinks!
This is not very good Mercy movement. She's very slow in the air. This is... You need to hit those. You know, you missed like 3, hit 2. Come on! Nice, there we go. Okay. So, as long as you stay alive up here, yeah, good carry. Let's go, boy! So I don't know why your Orisa is that far forward. It's kind of an int. I mean, at least, hopefully she's gonna stay alive here. Almost got the Mercy. And here is where...
My disappointment is immeasurable, and my day is ruined.
Here's where you can make a choice. It's time for change. I get the Mercy's one shot. But after whiffing that many shots, right? If you're not confident in your aim, you can go for the easier target, and there's nothing wrong with it. You are not playing on the highest rank yet, and yeah, in the long run, you definitely need to work on your aim here. But there is nothing wrong with changing targets to go on the cast, or if you want it even easier, to go on the Bastion, right? Instead, you try to shoot the Mercy more, but you keep on whiffing.
Oh my god.
I can tell you at this time, if I was in your game right there, and I was in that position without being contested, they would have all been dead. You need to, if you have that much space, you need those shots. And now you finally hit them, and you might still win this, because the other team is doing absolutely nothing somehow. But that was almost a fight-losing engagement, because you just whiffed over and over, right? If this is another replay where the guy wins, man. And like, look, I carried. The Mercy shooting you, the Mercy shooting you, the Mercy. The Mercy. Bruh. I don't know who was worse there, you or the Mercy. So Mercy Valks. Okay, you see her coming to you. She's coming. Look. Being shot. That took you a while. You Weaver with another amazing pull. Sticky Nate very balanced.
Man, I'm dead.
It's time for Mercy replay soon. You got it with Ainundo. Then you stand still, you peek. My analysis? I think you're pretty knowledgeable with positioning. Honestly, your positioning was great. Both on Cassidy and on Reaper, you started the engagements in the correct way. I think your aim is very poor at times. You need to be more patient. That time on Cass when you shot over and over, if you took the time and you just shoot 1 bullet instead of 2, but you make sure that bullet hits instead of whiffing 2, you get that kill on the Mercy, right? There were fights on Reaper where you missed because you were sitting right in front of the Hanzo and you missed the very first shot. I would work on my aim personally and then try to be a bit more creative with your positioning. Try to change it up. Don't always engage the same way, right? You always went one way with the TPs. Otherwise, I don't think this was awful, but you could have definitely carried harder. Not your team. You suck. Until next time. See you guys. Let me know what hero you want to see next, by the way. As long as it's not Mercy. Thank you.